Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Hayashi. Welcome to Hayashi Dojo in Mannheim, Germany. This is another karate video lesson for my students. This time I will talk about the variations in kata. This is a very good question. One of my students asked why in some countries a kata looks one way and in another group, in another region or under another master it looks another way. There are some small variations in the kata. They have been influenced by the way the higher or older generation masters have taught it to that group, and over the years it's been flavored by that group's accent. But within the Shotokan, and also within our specific Shotokan organization, the Japan Karate Association, the differences are small enough that once you're familiar with the kata and you've seen the variations that exist, if you're visiting another group or participating in a large seminar with other groups, you can easily adjust. I'll take the first 5 basic kata, the 5 Heian Kata, as an example. One variation you will see in Heian Shodan is the 4th movement. So, the first movement is universal. It is a Gedan Karai, no block in that direction. Then Oitsuki. Gedan Karai. That's 3. Now in the 4th movement, movement number 4, some groups do this. They will pull back and come forward in a Zenku Tsudachi with the hammer strike. Other groups will do this for the 4th movement. Okay? Some groups have a circle, others have the pulling hand, hikite, but in a Renoji Dachi. Renoji Dachi is essentially a shoulder width apart, Heian Godan with a 90-degree foot turn. Okay? That's the only real variation you see. Some groups do this 4th movement, the hammer fist, Tetsui Uchi, coming upright, and some forward. Now, there are 2 ways to deal with this, generally speaking. It is to go with the majority international way of doing a kata for your style. In our JKA style, I follow the more standardized international way taught at the Honbu Dojo, World Headquarter School. The other way to do it is to adjust to the way they do it in your given country. Now, because I began training in North America, then moved to Japan to train at the Honbu Dojo, and I'm now teaching in Germany, for me to adjust to the German way of doing it would be to do it the way Sensei Ochi, the head of JKA Germany, teaches the people in this country to do it. I have made the choice to choose, in most cases, the international version, to be aware of the variations, and if we visit other groups, to do it the way they do it in their group. Okay? Now, in the case of Heian Shodan, I teach my students movement 3. I teach movement 4 in a Zenku Tsudachi. There's a reason for it. If they've learned this, and we visit another group, and I tell them, or they have heard me say, simply to stand up in a Renoji Dachi, anyone who's learned to do this can easily do this. Okay? That's why I teach the Zenku Tsudachi. If they learn it that way, they can easily stand up and do this. The variations in Heian Nidan are in the 3rd movement and the 6th movement. No, the 2nd movement and the 5th movement. Movement 1 is universal. The 2nd movement, some interpret this way as an arm break. Others as a low uppercut punch and uratsuki. I choose to teach this version to my students. The reason for that, they learn to push the hip behind that movement. If they learn to do this, it's a lot easier for them to learn that movement this way, without moving their hips at all. Anyone who has learned this, and I say, no, when we visit that city or that country, just raise it and have an arm break. Anyone who can do this can easily do this. Okay? Small difference, but I choose to teach the version that allows my students to follow in general. Now, the other half of the same kata Heian Nidan. Some groups come directly into an uchi-ike. Some groups first show a low block here, and then an uchi-ike. I prefer just to teach the uchi-ike. Now, the reason for that, anyone who can do that, if I say, let's show a nagashi-ike here, will learn to bring this arm directly over to this point. Okay? I've seen some other variations where the arm moves away from the opponent. That's wrong. Okay? So I have a reason for choosing in each case one specific version. Now, in Heian Sandan, the third one, variations happen here. I've seen some Europeans, they bend the knees. I'm not sure where this came from, because Sensei Ochi's group doesn't do that. It came from somewhere, but I don't know where. So this is standard. We stand up. Okay? The major variation is in the second half of the kata. The international version is a fumikomi. We lift the knee, and then come down into kibadachi. Now, we know where this came from. Sensei Kanazawa, who was the first JKA instructor to come to Germany in 1968, prefers to do a mikatsuki geri here. Okay? And for some reason, 2 years later, when Sensei Ochi took over in 1970, I think it's because the 5-hand kata were already fixed and done that way. It hasn't changed in the last 45 years. So, most German JKA people will do this version. The international version is just to lift the knee. Now, in this case, I prefer to teach the mikatsuki geri, because anyone who can do that can skip it and just lift the knee in a hizageri. That's my reason for doing that. Good. Heian Yondan. You get a lot of variations here. With the back fist, uraken coming from one ear, from another ear, from under the chin, so it's nice and little. Here I take the international version. Over the head. Because of the practical reason that if anything is coming at you, for example, if you were to just stick your fist out into my face and I were to move towards you this way, I'm going to get hit. This will allow me to get hit. This will allow me to get hit and to give myself a bloody lip as I smash my own face. Okay? If I come as in with a high block, here, this gets underneath your arm and then into your face. Okay? That's my reason for that. The last variation is in Heian Godan. The end of the kata. Some teach it like this. The international version is this. It goes straight in. That's hard to teach. So I can understand teaching people to change signs. I don't like to do that though, because it becomes a count in the minds of the people. So I do a hybrid. I teach them to prepare for the next movement and leave the feet in position. Okay? Again, with the reasoning that if they see this, they could follow, and it brings them a step closer to learning this. Okay? So those are just some examples of variations and the reasons behind the version that I choose to teach.